In a land far, far away there was a place called the Whispering Woods. This was no ordinary forest, mind you. The trees had leaves that shimmered like 1,000 tiny rainbows, changing colours with every gentle breeze. The rivers flowed with sparkling sweet water that tasted of honey and sunshine. Gigantic puffy mushrooms with polka dots grew in happy little circles, and tiny glowing fairies zipped about like little stars, leaving trails of glitter in the air. It was a place full of magic and wonder, a truly enchanting world where every corner held a new, delightful secret waiting to be discovered by someone with a curious heart. Living deep within these magical woods was Vlcat. She was a magnificent wildcat, not just any wildcat, but one whose fur was the colour of the midnight sky, dotted with silver spots that twinkled like the constellations themselves. Vlcat was the silent guardian of the woods. She was swift and she was clever. Her paws made no sound as she moved through the rustling leaves. She knew every secret path, every hidden stream, and every sleepy hollow. The smaller creatures of the woods looked up to her. They saw her as their protector, a brave and wise friend who kept them safe from any harm that dared to enter their peaceful home. On the other side of the Whispering Woods, just where the rainbow trees met the rolling green hills, lived a dog named Dog. But Dog was not just a dog, he was a brave warrior with a coat as golden as the morning sun and eyes that shone with loyalty and courage. He wore a small, sturdy collar made of woven moonbeams, a gift from the village children he protected. Dog's job was to guard the village of Sunstone, a happy little place at the edge of the woods. He was strong and very smart, and his bark could scare away even the grumpiest of trolls. He loved his village and its people with all his heart. Dog had heard stories about the Whispering Woods. The village elders spoke of a fierce, shadowy creature that lived there. They called it a monster who guarded ancient treasures and did not like visitors. Dog, being the brave protector he was, believed it was his duty to keep his village safe from this so-called monster. He didn't know about Vlcat's true nature, her kindness, or her role as the forest's guardian. All he knew was the fear in the villagers' stories, and he promised himself he would one day face this creature to ensure the safety of his beloved home and friends. One bright morning, a little girl from Sunstone Village named Lila chased a runaway giggle blossom. These flowers were known to wiggle and giggle when you got close, and this one had giggled its way right into the Whispering Woods. Lila, forgetting her parents' warnings, ran after it, her laughter echoing among the rainbow trees. She didn't realize she was going deeper and deeper into the magical forest, far away from the safety of the village. Dog, who was on his usual morning patrol, saw Lila disappear into the woods. His heart thumped with worry. He had to get her back no matter what. Vlcat, resting on a high branch of a crystal tree, heard the unfamiliar sound of a human child's laughter. Her ears twitched. She knew the woods could be tricky for those who didn't know its ways. The giggle blossoms were playful, but they could lead one astray. A sense of duty stirred within her. She was the guardian of this place, and that meant protecting everyone within it, even a lost little girl. She leapt down silently from her perch, her starry coat blending with the dappled light of the forest, and began to follow the sound, intending to guide the child safely back to the edge of the woods. Dog bounded into the woods, his nose to the ground, sniffing for Lila's trail. The air here was thick with magic, a mix of sweet pollen and earthy spells that tickled his nose. He was on high alert. The stories of the forest monster echoed in his mind. He was ready for a fight. He barked loudly, calling for Lila, his voice a sharp, commanding sound in the otherwise peaceful woods. He believed the monster of the woods might have lured the little girl in, and his protective instincts were screaming at him to be prepared for the worst kind of danger. It was Dog's loud barking that reached Vlcat first. To her, it sounded like a threat. It was an aggressive noise, a trespasser's call that shattered the harmony of her home. Then she saw him, a golden beast charging through the undergrowth. At the same moment, Dog spotted a dark, starry shape moving swiftly towards Lila. He didn't see a guardian. He saw the monster from the stories about to pounce on the helpless child. Their worlds were about to collide, each believing they were doing the right thing, each seeing the other as a dangerous foe. The stage was set for a truly epic showdown. The air grew tense. The fairies stopped zipping about and hid behind the polka dot mushrooms. Dog let out a mighty roar, a sound filled with the courage of 100 warriors. "Get away from the child, you monster!" he barked, his golden fur bristling. He didn't wait for an answer. He charged forward, a blur of sunlight and determination. He was ready to fight to protect Lila. He thought Vlcat was a villain, a dark creature from the spooky stories, and he would not let her harm the innocent girl. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and bravery. Vlcat was startled by the sudden attack. This golden dog was fast. She sidestepped his charge with the grace of a dancer, her silver-spotted paws barely touching the ground. She didn't want to fight, but she had to defend herself and her home. She let out a low hiss, her eyes like twin moons narrowing at the intruder. "This is my forest, and the child is under my protection," she thought, her mind racing. She saw the fear and aggression in the dog's eyes and realized he had misunderstood her intentions completely. She needed to end this quickly and without anyone getting hurt. Dog lunged again, snapping his jaws. He was smart. He tried to corner Vlcat against a giant crystal-bark tree. He was using his strength and power to overwhelm his opponent. He felt the rush of the battle, the pounding in his chest, the singular focus of protecting Lila. He saw Vlcat's sharp claws and thought only of the danger they posed. He was a guardian of his village, and he would not fail. Every move he made was precise, driven by his deep love and loyalty for the people of Sunstone. He was fighting for everything he held dear. Vlcat was just as clever. She didn't meet his force with force. Instead, she used her agility. When Dog lunged, she leaped high into the air, landing silently on a branch above him. She was like a shadow, always just out of reach. From her perch, she could see the whole scene, the charging dog, the confused little girl, and the path back to the village. She felt a pang of sadness. This fight was a big mistake, a terrible misunderstanding. She wasn't a monster, and he wasn't a villain. They were both just trying to protect the little girl in their own way. From her hiding spot, little Lila watched the fight. She wasn't just scared, she was confused. She saw the beautiful starry cat and the brave golden dog. The cat hadn't tried to hurt her at all. In fact, it looked like it was trying to lead her somewhere, and her dear dog was fighting so fiercely for her. "Stop!" she cried out, her small voice cutting through the sounds of the fight. "Please stop fighting! Neither of you is bad!" Her words, full of pure, simple truth, hung in the magical air. Both Vlcat and Dog froze mid-action, turning their heads to look at the little girl they were fighting over. Dog looked at Lila, then at Vlcat, who was perched gracefully on the branch above. He saw the wildcat's eyes, and for the first time he didn't see a monster. He saw wisdom and a calm strength. He saw a creature that was not attacking but defending. His anger began to melt away, replaced by a dawning sense of understanding. He had been so sure, so ready to believe the scary stories. But the look on Lila's face and the wildcat's calm posture told him a different story. He felt a little bit foolish for jumping to conclusions so quickly. Vlcat leapt down from the tree, landing softly on the mossy ground. She walked slowly towards Lila, not as a threat, but as a guide. She nudged the little girl's hand with her head, then looked at Dog with her intelligent, moon-like eyes. It was a look that said, "Let's get her home." Together, Dog understood. He let out a soft whine, his tail giving a slow, hesitant wag. He walked to Lila's other side. Together, the two former enemies began to lead the little girl out of the Whispering Woods, one a guardian of the forest, the other a guardian of the village. They reached the edge of the woods as the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Dog and Vlcat looked at each other, a new respect between them. They had both been brave, and they had both been smart. They learned that true courage isn't just about fighting, it's also about being willing to understand others. From that day on, the starry wildcat and the golden dog were no longer enemies. They were fellow guardians, protectors of the border between their two worlds, ensuring that both the woods and the village remained safe and sound forever.